Hi, my name is Norman Smith. I am the minister of Granton Parish Church in Edinburgh, and I'm here today to talk to you about Granton Goes Greener. This is an environmental project about how we put our faith into practice in the local community. It relates to what we do with our clothing. It relates to what we do with baked goods that we receive from a local baker, Baines. And the aim of it is so that we will make a real difference in the lives of people who need it. This is about taking seriously Jesus' call to be salt and to be light in our community. And it's a great project. So stick around and learn a bit more. Thank you. Granton Goes Greener is an environmental project. It's about how we care for the environment. It's about how we live out our faith. It's about making an impact on the community. And it's got the potential of growing into a fresh expression of church in years to come. But it didn't start that way. This is our buildings as they used to be. As you can see, it's looking a bit tired. And the discontent, part of the motivation was, how do we fix our buildings? How do we get this, it's called Lexan, off the windows? How do we make it look less like a prison and more like a welcoming space? And we realized that there was a lot more to this than actually just changing the building. So we've got bike rides, we've got what's called rescued bread. We're in partnership with a company called Baines. We've got a clothes swap set up. It was called the Swap Shop. And the things you can do is amazing. So how did it start? Well, when somebody becomes part of Granton, we do a gift audit. And somebody became part of the community in Granton, and they said, I have a dream to do something in the environment. And they were really passionate about this. And they came into a time when, alongside them, we also had something called a Blue Skies group. And the Blue Skies group had on it someone who was good at HR, someone who was good at finance, someone who was good at fabric, 2 teachers, and myself. And when you bring all these ingredients together, you get the passion, you get the can-do, and that then leads to action. But it required the various ingredients to be there for something to actually happen and for it to move beyond what you might call discontent, because we're very good at discontent in the church. So 1 year in, we had all the fabric stuff done, and at that point we had fulfilled all of the things that our then funders asked us to do. So we could have just shut down the swap shop, and we could have just shut down the rescued bread. But as time went on, we began to realize it's the kind of community we're in, and you see all the red there, that's the Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation. It's the swap shop and the rescued bread that is actually making an impact in our community, and these were the things that we needed to keep going. So we refocused the project. We took out all the fabric stuff, and we said, this is about actually clothing our people, it's about feeding our people, it's about helping those in need, it's about showing how we really care for the environment. And now, as you can see there, that's the group of volunteers at the top, and that's the back office at the bottom. We don't need to advertise for donations. We turn up every kind of day at the church, and there's just a bag of donations lying there. And in a 2-month period, we will dish out about 600 kilograms of clothes. It's staggering. And the net effect of it is that the church has a credibility in our neighborhood that we never had before. People come to us for ideas. People say, this church actually makes a difference. But it's not been plain sailing. So the learnings are as follows. You will get opposition. When we repurposed part of our hall, the existing hall user said, what are you doing? Why is all this closed there? What's the mess doing there? So if you think this is going to be great, it's not going to be great without some opposition. Also, you won't really know where you're going till you're active on the ground. So it was only when we were actually on the ground doing the work we realized this is not about fabric. This is actually about how we serve the people. You need to focus on what you're actually meant to be doing. So we had so many choices because again, when you get the passion and when you get the people together, you can go in so many different ways. So you need to know what your core business is. And it took us about a year to work out what our core business was. And that meant we had to wrestle with this question. Are we a church that has a project, or are we a project that has a church? And that's a really important question for your volunteers and how they work out. We also learned, don't chase the money. So the first time we did something, we got a grant from a group called CCF, Climate Challenge Fund. We went back to them again. We didn't have a coherent story. We were chasing the money. They said no. But as the journey went on and as our vision kind of coalesced, we realized that actually it's not about the money. It's about the vision. The money follows the vision. And all of this takes time. It takes a long time to do this. It takes time from your volunteers. So if you've got people volunteering to do this, give them a break doing something else. And you know what we'd say is we're on a journey. We find ourselves now doing lots of different partnerships. We find ourselves doing about getting people into work. We find ourselves doing free sanitary products, maker workshop. It's fantastic. But the challenges never go away. They just change. So the challenges we've got now are, how do we move our volunteers into being the people who actually run the project and take ownership for it? And our challenge is, as the church sits there and says, but nobody's joining the church, that's not what it's about. And as always, like everybody else, we are so grateful to go for it. And one of the big things we're grateful for is they were willing to be the first funder. Don't underestimate what it means for someone to be the first funder. So thank you very much.